Hey, what's up, everybody? This week I have the most amazing episode. I speak with Frank Parisi. He is a motivational speaker. He's also an author. He actually died and came back from death, had a heart transplant, and here he is to share his motivational story. It was one of the most intense, awesome podcasts I have ever done. You guys are going to be so inspired. And if you enjoy what you hear, please subscribe to the channel, leave some comments, leave a rating, and let's jump into the podcast. All right, what's up, everybody? This is Sabo with the Silicon Valley to Spirituality Show. This week I have an awesome guest, motivational speaker, author, Frank Parisi. Frank, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, brother.
All right. So, Frank, I just gave a really brief introduction to you, and we had a short conversation. One of our good friends, Willie McKenzie, had put us together, and he said, Sabo, you got to talk to this guy, Frank. He has an amazing story. And we talked a little bit about it, but I would love for you to just give a background of who Frank is, how you grew up, what happened to you, and why we're going to be talking about this new direction and how you created or wrote and authored this book.
Okay, so my name is Frank Parisi. I'm 44 years old. I was born in the Lower East Side of Manhattan in the late 70s, early 80s, 1979 to be exact. And I grew up in a Italian bakery that's been there since 1903 called Parisi Bakery. The whole family worked there. I grew up around the corner from the old punk rock club called ZBGB. So grew up with a lot of Italian root in an Italian bakery. Little different than most people because the street and the neighborhood shaped me in a way that led towards a life of demise, let's say. So I grew up, my father was involved with organized crime, so I followed in that life. And as we progressed down the road, I became addicted to opiates and struggled with addiction for about 6 years, along with the street. And back in, I don't want to get into that whole story because there's a whole story with that. Found recovery through a series of events. And at 31 years old, I've been nothing about growth. I've been all about helping others, service, and constantly investing in myself to become the greatest version of myself. And so fast forward, and we're going to get into the current situation of what had just happened, because we could sit in the backstory for a whole session. We could do a podcast on what had before, what just transpired. So now I'm coming up on 13 years of sobriety. Again, like I told you earlier, I've been a man of nothing of growth, service, helping others, constantly looking to evolve and elevate and learn more and create a higher consciousness for myself. So last January, in 2023, I had developed a cough. I had a drug and alcohol treatment center, and I would travel around the country doing marketing for the company. And I've been to three different parts of the country: Florida, New York, and California. I had this cough that had persisted. I had gone to two doctors, primary care physicians. They told me that it was allergies because I live in Austin, Texas, which is a very high allergy part of the country. And the cough kept persisting. Went to another primary care. They sent me for more tests on my chest. They tell me again, it's allergies. I said, listen, it's not allergies. I've been to three different parts of the country. There's no allergies. I finally go see a gastrointestinal non-pharmacy specialist and a pulmonologist, and I have a cardiologist appointment. So I see the gastro, everything's fine. I see the pulmonologist, and they tell me, they run the scans on me, and they tell me that I have a rare form of pneumonias prevalent after COVID called organizing pneumonia. 3% of the population has it. You're going to need high dose steroids and antibiotics for 6 months of treatment of this, and it should clear it up. So I start the therapies that the doctor gives me. I had the appointment with the cardiologist, but I canceled it because I went to this pulmonologist, who's a specialist, who told me that this is the diagnosis. The cough kept getting worse. Now I'm coughing up orange stuff. I call the pulmonologist back, and honestly, I feel like at this point that I'm dying. I've been in shape my whole life. I've suffered severe trauma as a child throughout my adult life, to be honest with you. And working out was such a key in my life to keep me grounded and deal with what I had to deal with in my life. Here I am now, we're still working out while I'm sick. Now I'm unable to work out. Nobody knew what was wrong with me because I had worked out for 30 years. I built a good physique. You wouldn't have known that I'm as sick as I am. And I'm telling everybody that I feel like I'm dying. I'm telling everybody I feel like I'm dying. Now I can't even hold down. I can't even look at it. If I eat a piece of toast, I'm starting to throw that up. The doctor gives me more medication. Now on May 8th, I wake up, I'm coughing all night. Coughing, now I'm coughing up. I cough up a half a bottle of Gatorade filled with blood that night. I wake up in the morning and I tell my wife, we have to go see the doctor. This is really bad. Now on May 8th, when I woke up, everybody's telling me that, listen, this is organizing pneumonia. I'm having these panic attacks, which I will get into it. So when you look online that these high dose steroids can cause these type of symptoms. So all these things that I was feeling, I was like, maybe it's the steroids. Like you loss of appetite, you feeling anxious. I get to the hospital, I get to my doctor and he goes, we have to admit you. So they admit me into Baylor Scott and White in Austin. I'm in Austin, Texas, from New York City. So I have no family here. So they admit me, my wife comes, I have a 6-year-old boy at the time. She goes, I'm going to go home and stay with him. They're going to treat you for the night. You're going to have to stay the night. They still misdiagnose me. They treat me for sepsis. So now I'm in the hospital by myself. And they fill me with fluid. Okay. Now, on top of that, one of the nurses in the hospital missed the vein in my arm. He put the wrong pick in my arm for a pressor medication. She infiltrated and burned the whole entire interior of my arm. So this whole giant piece right here is a skin graft surgery that I got on July 14th of last year. The nurse messed my arm up. Massive 3rd-degree burn around my whole arm. In walks another doctor and finally finds out what's wrong with me. He goes, this guy does not have sepsis. We have to transfer you now to Temple, Texas. And I'm like, why? What's going on? They say you have 9% heart function and your kidneys and your liver are failing. We can't help you here. So now I have to drive I get the ambulance takes me from Austin, Texas, an hour and a half in this town I'm from New York City. This is a town of 30,000 people. This is like some country town that has this hospital that's going to save my life. And I'm like, what? I woke up with a cough. 2 weeks ago, I'm in the gym doing 15 pull-ups and bench pressing 225. What do you mean, dying? What do you mean I have heart failure? So now I come to the hospital and my wife, this is like 2:00 in the morning. I'm in Temple, Texas, okay? My wife comes up with a picture of my son begging me to live. I have 10 minutes with her and there's a team of doctors waiting to work on me to save my life. They want to put me on the most advanced form of life support, which is called the ECMO machine, which is where it basically filters your blood through this machine to keep you alive. So I have 10 minutes now to sit with my wife and talk about finances if I am about to leave this plane. And they're like, we have to put him on a ventilator. And they're honest with you. The doctors were we don't know if he's going to, is what they told us. So the team of doctors saved my life. I code out, I die. So this is where it gets very tricky. I've been a high vibrating spirit. I believe that we are spiritual beings having the human experience right here. I've done so much work on myself to develop the human being that's in front of you right now, because 15, 20 years ago, this is not the same man that you see here. I've come to realize through all my experiences in my life that my life and this journey has nothing to do with me. Everything in my life and everything that I've done in my life to develop the man that I am was about the service of others. And really what it's about my son and his future generations and breaking the chain of where I came from. Because if I wasn't the one and I'm not here now, it would be the same pile of crap that would continue generational. So here I am now facing my and my wife. The last thing I see is this picture of my son, 6-year-old son. Okay. And I die. Okay. And I leave my body. All right. Now I'm in this void space of darkness. And I look down, I could see down at my body, at my wife and myself. Now I'm in recovery. I'm not in the room that I was in. I'm in recovery. Years ago, I helped a lot of people in my life. Years back, I helped one of my friends. He, in drug and alcohol treatment, I got him sober. He went back to that life and he had passed away. When we cross over, there is no body or form. It was just, I know he was with me. And we could communicate telepathic. He was wanting me to come to whatever's next. And then there was a voice, okay? There was a voice that told me we want you here. And we had visions when we go to what's next. I had a vision of my son walking with another man. And I said, I have to come back. At that moment, the voice told me that I am going to suffer. I had no idea what I was about to face. And I didn't even know if what I just experienced was real. So I come back and now I'm alive. All right. There's a doctor from New York. The reason why this hospital is so prevalent in the middle of Temple, Texas, is because there's doctors from Lenox Hill and Mount Sinai from New York City that came over and brought their teams with them. Dr. Reddy, who's not at the hospital anymore, but he was there, helped save me. He reversed everything. They had to pump 18 gallons of fluid out of my body. So now I'm sitting in the hospital and I have to learn to walk. Now they have me in the bed. No one knows what's wrong with me. It's like an episode of Black Mirror. I have all of these hazmat, all the doctors are in hazmat suits. They have plastic covered up over everything. I'm sitting there with a pump in my leg, not knowing what the hell is going on. I don't know what's happening. They think I have some form of tuberculosis because of the orange stuff that I'm coughing on. So now they're like, we're going to move the pump from the groin to the neck. So now it's 9 days in the bed. When you're in a bed for 9 days, you become emaciated. I've lost everything. I was in atrial fibrillation. They got that under control. So now they're like, listen, we're going to have to cut your chest open. And you're either going to need a mitral valve replacement or you're going to need a heart transplant. And I'm like, what are you talking about, heart transplant? This makes no sense. What are you talking about? I've been a healthy guy working out for 30 years, taking care of my body, eating well. What are you talking about? Heart transplant. I don't know. What are you talking about? Then they're talking about this other thing called an LVAD. You might need an LVAD if you can't get a heart transplant, which is a machine that goes into your chest, comes out of your stomach, and it's a belt that you wear that you plug in and you get 18 hours of charge. Could you imagine on May 8th, I woke up with a call, okay? I had no idea this was going to happen. So now on May 18th,
and just real quick, Frank. So
and stop me anytime. This story is completely crazy.
yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Crazy.
Wow. Okay. So just to recap, grew up in New York, got into an exciting childhood that many teenage boys get into, realized like this is maybe not the right path for me. Really
Yes.
focused on self-improvement and personal growth. Gave up drinking, drugs, and alcohol. Helped other people with this. And then one day, May 8th, a year ago, you're working out, wake up with a cough. They've been misdiagnosing this thing for quite some time. You get transferred from Austin to Temple. You die, you have this out of body experience. You're viewing yourself from your spirit's perspective, not your physical self's perspective. You interact with a previous person, spirit to spirit, or through telepathy, and you're given a choice to either stay or to go back. You choose to go back, but they say you're going to have some suffering. And then now they're telling you need a heart transplant.
With the movie.
All right. All right. I just wanted to make sure that we got all the details
It
here.
was just like a movie. I sometimes I'm like, am I dead? And this is the movie. You know what I mean? Is this the movie? I believe me. I feel like I took the pill in the Matrix. This is whatever. Like all these movies are true. I'm just being
Let's
honest.
keep rolling the movie then. Let's keep rolling the movie.
So I know I'm like, God, whatever. Keep me here for now. Enough until whatever's next, whatever work I gotta do. Let me do it. But no more of this. I need to be here. Now I have my father passed away. Okay. My father passed away 3 years. Me and my father were very close. He's huge in my book. He's helped shape and mold me, the good and the bad. And so I want to speak to him because we had a hard, like when I started changing one way, it was difficult, our relationship. But as he got sick with cancer, it came back. So I wanted to talk to my father. So I had booked this appointment 5 months with this medium. 5 months ago. I'm supposed to be in Florida May 19th. I'm May 18th and 19th. I'm in the hospital, not knowing what's wrong with me, fighting for my life, and I have this appointment with a medium. Coincidence? I don't know. So I speak to my father. She knows everything about my father, everything about our relationship, about his childhood, about I got to speak to her and heal with a beautiful thing. The thing that blew my mind. She goes like this to me. She goes, "Are all your doctors from New York at the hospital?" I said, "Yes, they are." She goes, "Your father sent them there for you." I got goosebumps right now. She had two things wrong. She said that he keeps telling me that there's a birthday coming and that there's a pendant and a chain. He wants you to know about this pendant and chain. And I had no idea about any of this stuff. I told her, I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe my son has a birthday, like one of his friends. The next day, my mother comes in on May 19th. My father's mother died when he was 14. I never knew my grandmother. I told my mother, I said, I spoke to the medium, had everything right. She even knew that these doctors were here from New York. I said she had two things wrong, the pendant and chain and someone's birthday. She goes, "Today is your grandmother's birthday, May 19th. She said the pendant and chain and Camille. My Aunt Dolores gave a pendant and a chain of my grandmother to my mother when my dad passed away. She gave it to my Aunt Camille, who was my dad's sister." I'm like, I start screaming. The nurses all come running in because I'm like, how is this possible? How does she know things that I don't? I FaceTime my aunt in the hospital, okay? And she's wearing the pendant and the chain. Now I'm like, I'm gonna live. I'm gonna live and I'm gonna get up, bro. Now I'm like, I'm gonna live and I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna start walking. I used to bench press 445 pounds in the gym in my late 20s, early 30s. My 445 in that hospital was 10 steps. And then it was 20 steps. And then it was a mile. And then they had to put a pump in my chest to see if my heart was going to. So they put this highest advanced pump called the impeller pump. It put me at the top of the list for a heart transplant because I was so near death. this is the last thing. It's either this pump is gonna help me to keep my heart, or it's not. What they do is they raise what it does, it helps the heart to calm down because your heart's a muscle and relax, and it pumps it for you. So they started at a high dose, and for a couple of weeks they start lowering it down to see if the heart starts pumping for itself. So now I'm starting to feel good. I'm starting to build myself, and I know I need surgery. So I need to now start building myself back up. I just lost 40 pounds in 10 days. I got to start building myself. I'm walking. I got the pump in my chest. I'm walking 5 miles. I'm hearing code blue in the hospital, right? Because of my son, because of the man that I developed through the power, through taking constant action and growing with this power, with this joy, I created a new man. And I was walking around that unit while I'm hearing people die, telling that next man next to me, get up, buddy, and walk with me. Let's walk and live. They got me a Superman cape in the hospital. It's all on my Instagram. Go check it out. And I would walk out with this pump facing my whatever's going to be next. And I was bringing everybody up in the unit. I was so down, my brother. I was so broken that I knew through my work, through my development, when you're down, you need love. How do you get love? You give it. I started giving it to the nurses. I started giving it to the doctors. I bought everyone lunch and breakfast and dinner. I started to be light in that room. I started to be light in that fucking ICU while I'm hearing people dying. I had God walking with me. I had the power walking with me. Nothing stopped me. I started to think about vision. Okay, radically accept where you are in your life. You're here. Doesn't matter how you got here. You've been in these situations before. You had to face and overcome addiction. Now it's your time to face and overcome your health. Let's go. You've been in precarious situations. A full acceptance. And what's the vision? Embrace the comeback. Now they bring me into the room. My heart's not working. Now I need a new heart. Go into the psyche of the human mind. Okay? Now I'm like, I need a new heart. And now I gotta wait for someone to die to accept this gift of life. What am I gonna do with that for the rest of my life? You know what I mean?
Wow.
What am I going to do with this gift? This person's with me. It's a woman. I found that out. So I don't want to get off the subject of the story, and stop me if you have.
Yeah. So let's take a little break here.
Yeah,
So,
brother. There's so many layers, dude.
yeah, this is wow. This is
There's
really
so many layers to this, brother. There's so many layers to this, brother. You have no idea. There's so many. I need to be around people like you, bro, because you're awake. I feel it. Like through here, I feel it. You know what I'm saying? And the world's not like that, man. It feels alone. Everything that I've been through, sometimes it feels lonely, bro. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna lie to you because I've experienced things that not many people. You
well,
understand? I'm awake to stuff that many people are not awake to. How precious this gift of life is, even if it sucks to you. I'm in the hospital with my chest cut open, grateful to be in pain, to be here for my son, to be here to teach, to be here to guide. That's all I care for. Then I could go. I'm sorry.
no. I'm connected to you, brother. I'm so happy that you're getting a chance to express and share your story. I think this is very important for people to hear. I know so many people that have so much that don't have the gratitude, don't have the abundant mindset, and just live in this scarcity world and really just not allowing themselves to feel the gratitude of just having life breathe through us. So I'm there with you 100%. And I'm so glad that Willie connected us. And what I wanted to just rewind a little bit was you had talked about like setting this appointment with this medium, and it seemed like you were already open spiritually before all of this happened. Is
Oh,
that correct?
brother, for a long time, I've ran drug and alcohol treatment programs, okay? I've developed programs, but through that process as a healer, you have to heal. You have to have been in the fire and come out of it and heal to be a healer. So I've always been on that growth mindset. I've seen the most ugliest of life. I've been with the bottom of people, and I've also now developed to where I've been around people, the top, in all ways, from business to personal to human being. Like, just my life is abundant. The people in my life are abundant. It's completely different. Through the process of spirituality and constant growth, constantly investing in my evolution and elevation. As I grow, so does everyone around me.
Mm.
The rising tide raises all boats. So as I elevate, the correct people will come into my life to walk that path with me. And that's been my sole focus for the past 13 years. Has been nothing but a growth projection. I just want to be around it. And I don't want to have relationships with, I know we're getting off topic. I don't want to have relationships with people unless it's real. Unless we could actually have an actual vulnerable, honest connection. The superficialness, after everything I've been through in my life, my time on this journey, wow, it's very limited. So who you spend it with, it truly matters to me at this point. The
Yeah.
vibration needs to be raised unless I'm helping you to raise you. And I'm only going to help that for a certain amount of time because I'm not carrying that weight either. We have to walk
Yeah.
this together, you know?
I love how you talked about in order to be a really great healer, you need to heal yourself first. And I've noticed that there are a lot of people that want to heal others, but have not healed themselves and have these blind spots and shadows that they're not aware of. And when you're speaking, I'm literally getting goosebumps as you're speaking. So I know what you're speaking is the truth, and my body is responding as if it is truth. And so, what I wanted to bring back was I think that most people who, if I imagine, went through the same thing as you, healthy, benching 445, waking up with a cough, all of a sudden realizing I lost 40 pounds. I can't even take 10 steps. I'm going to have a new heart put into me. Like, why is all these bad things happening? And what I'm extrapolating from your story is you started, instead of going into the darkness, you started going into the light. You started serving other people. You started bringing food, sharing love, and that became a part of your journey of recovery.
Beautiful. Always this. Whenever we go through the hardest of times in life, never why me. It's never victim. It's why not me? It's Victor. And it's these two questions. What is the gift in this? And what am I going to become because of it? And when we ask our minds those questions, we get different answers. We get answers like, we're going to write a book. We're going to become an author. We're going to become a motivational speaker. We're going to build back our body. Dude, I have a six pack. I had my chest cut open on June 3rd and a new heart put in my chest. I saw the vision of what my life was going to look like physically, as far as writing a book, speaking. I've done that. That's the beauty of life. We were given a body and mind to create. We create through vision, right? We have this vision. It doesn't matter where we started in life or what your current circumstances. You fully accept where you are, your current reality. Have the vision of where you want to go. Make the agreement with yourself that no matter what, even in the face of death, you show up in those agreements, in service, in love of others. Whatever your agreements, shut the noise off and take massive action until the vision, the reality, then go to the next one. That is the beauty for me of a life. And that's embracing abundance. That's what embracing abundance is all about. It's creation and then teaching the creation that you created. Man. And that's the beauty of this. We just get caught up in the system and the programming. What if you created your own program for your mind, your own belief systems? I had to challenge all that stuff. I had to unlearn a lot of stuff and how to get the new 2.0 computer program version put in order to create this human being.
Yeah, I love that. What I heard was there was radical self-acceptance of whatever situation, whether it was a health situation, whether it's someone else in your life that is you perceive to be effing you over. You can radically accept that and say, hey, why is this in my life? What can I learn from it? What can I create out of this? And instead of being in this victim mentality, you're in this creation mentality and really honoring that whatever is happening for divine reasons, not for your mental suffering, but actually for your growth so that you can actualize the full potential that is in yourself. That's what I was hearing.
Absolutely. You never question what is in life. Through the recovery process, right? One of the things is God, like in the second step, right? We talk about God is everything, right? So if this power is truly everything, and I'm tapping into this thing that guides me, who am I to question? Who am I to question the path that's in front of me? It's exactly the way it was supposed to be. I just need to walk, even if it's a heart transplant, even if it's the nurse messed up. And I had to get my arm debrided on June 1st. I had to get an arm debrided on June 1st. My arm was this much missing. And I'm a person in recovery that had to now go fight with the devil again in order to feel God. I had to take pain medication. I was addicted to opiates for 7 years of my life. It put me to the darkest of places in my life. Here I am. When I did this, I did ibuprofen, 13 staples, ibuprofen. When they did this, and then after that, because it's more crazy, we could talk for 10 days. After they did my arm, okay, June 1st, now I'm on a heart transplant list. To get on a heart transplant list, you have to be physically, no comorbidities, no colonoscopy, dentists, social worker, psychologists. They want to know what you do for a living. How much money do you make? They want to know if you could pay for your med. They're not giving away a heart. Then they meet as a board and discuss your fate. It's either LVAD, that thing that comes out of my stomach, or it's a heart transplant. This is it. So then June 1st, I get the arm debride. Now I'm waiting. So now you're waiting for someone to die. What are you doing with it? I think about this. I think about the 40. What am I doing with this? You know what I mean? What am I doing with all this energy that's going into my body to give me life? What am I doing with you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now they come in my room on June 2nd after they debride my arm. And by the way, my arm is now missing this much chunk from it. Like I have to wait for the skin to grow back as they clean it out. And then I can get the skin graft. I got to take a piece of my leg off to put it on my arm. But this is going to be later on. So I'm like, maybe this is good. They did the debride. I could wait because I'm O positive for my blood type. They said it's going to be 6 to 8 weeks before you could get a heart because of your blood type. I'm like, that's great because I could get the surgery done and then get that surgery. Because now when you get a heart transplant or any transplant, your immune system is compromised for the rest of your life. You have to take anti-rejection so that the body doesn't reject the organ. So they purposely lower your immune system so that it doesn't fight it off. So you're prone to sickness. Now I'm like, this has to get done first because I can die from this in the hospital. If it gets infected, my immune system's not going to be able to fight it. What if I lose my arm? These are all the things that go through your mind.
Yeah, and
God,
you keep, and real
God is,
quick,
God is everything.
you keep on using the month June. We're in June right now. Are you talking about June last year or June a few years ago?
Last year. No, June last year, 2023.
Wow, no way. You look like a
2023,
person that
dude.
is, I cannot believe a year later you look this healthy. And for the people that are just listening to this, he was saying like there's like a inch chunk like missing from his arm right now. That's what he was holding up to the camera. And
It's
when you
grown
were
back from
saying,
the skin graft, but yeah, it was missing like this much. I have video pictures of all this. Is crazy.
wow,
Yeah.
wow. For me, I just wanted to reiterate, like one of the things that I tell my clients is that every challenge could be looked at as like a problem or a gift. And if you look at the challenge as a problem, you will experience it as a problem. If you look at it as a gift, it will still be challenging, but you know that it's working towards something in your greater good. And when I'm hearing this story here, to me, this is taking that concept to almost about as extreme as you can for a human 3D physical being, which is heart surgery, not being able to walk, being like a completely different person, still having a wife and kid that you need to take care of, but still meeting this with not the mentality of like, why did this happen to me? But, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it's like almost like, wow, I get such a great challenge to rebuild myself and become Frank 2.0, as I heard you describe. And yeah, I didn't want to
That's
put words in your mouth, but that's what I
no,
was
you're
hearing.
absolutely right. I embraced this whole, I documented my whole comeback on social media, all my workouts, everything. You could go into my social and read my posts when I was facing all this stuff. It was the same mentality that I'm speaking to you right now. My mind and the person I developed is never faltered. It's the agreements I made with myself. It's my code of conduct until this journey's over, how I show up. This is the guy I developed. He's only going to get better because I'm only going to learn and grow more. So the version
Yeah.
is going to go to 3.0 and 4 until I'm
Yeah.
not here no
And
more.
until we are part of source again, back to
Until
the
we're part
infinite.
of source again, because there is no death. There's just
Yeah.
next.
So I don't want to get off course, but I need
I
to
know.
ask this question because I've studied a lot of near-death experiences and out-of-body experiences. I used to be an atheist until I had my awakening, and then all of a sudden I became like sensitive to all these different things, spirit guides, guardian angels, higher entities that I could access. And so one of the things that I came across was this young girl got a heart transplant. And immediately after the heart transplant, she started having these nightmares. And this is a really interesting case because she was having these nightmares over and over again. And she went and saw a psychologist.
Heard
And the
about this.
psychologist said, yeah, this isn't a dream. This is more like a memory. And through this memory, she had met someone that drew like for police people when they draw suspects. She described this person that was in her nightmares and they were actually able to catch this person who had kidnapped and murdered the other child who she ended up having the heart was. And so I came to realize like the heart has some memory too. And you're the first person that I've met that is spiritually connected that has had a heart transplant from a woman. So I just wanted to ask you, after having this new heart, did anything change? Did you have any kind of connection to this other person? I was just curious.
Yeah, I do, bro. I feel like it's her heart. So sometimes I'll sleep at night and I feel connected to her. I feel connected to her. Her family reached out to me, brother. They reached out to me, and that's gonna be so beautiful when I get to meet them because I reached back out to them. They wait a year. So June, get back to the story. Let me get back to the story and then
Yeah, let's get back to this story.
June on I get my on the bride June 1st, okay? And I do feel her with me. I feel her with me. I love her. I want to meet her family and make them my family if they would allow that. I really do. I get the on the bride June 2nd. They come in and I'm supposed to be 6 to 8 weeks. I don't get it. They tell me you're going to get a heart tomorrow. One day.
Wow.
One day, brother. So I'm grateful, but I'm nervous because I'm like, one, am I going to die during the transplant? And then the other thing is, after I have the transplant, I need to get another surgery. I need to get skin graft surgery. I have this like chunk missing from my arm, around my whole arm, giant open wound. And I'm in ACU in the hospital with germs all around me. And so it was a lot of that. And again, it was God is everything. Complete surrender, bro. Complete surrender of my wife, my life, my son, everything to the power. And then I was blessed. June 3rd, I came out of the transplant and I was good, bro. I have a picture. You see it on my social. As soon as I came out and I came to, I wrote, I don't care about pain. I'm grateful to be alive to feel it. And I have a picture of me when it was coming out of me, dude. And that was still the mindset the whole time. Just nothing but grateful. You have to embrace the suck sometimes. You're alive to feel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're alive to feel. I get so present for the moment. I was in Lion King last week. I was in Manhattan with my son. We went back to the old neighborhood and I took him to go see Lion King. And this is off subject, but even the story. And I'm sitting there, brother, and I'm watching Lion King. All right. And I didn't realize that Lion King was so deep and rooted into what I just went through because Simba's father is teaching Simba everything, bro, to be a lion. And that's like me and my son. I developed this new human for him. And I'm teaching him. And the thing that I'm in, bro, sitting eighth row, center stage, in the theater, whatever the theater is, in Times Square. And I'm bawling, crying. Grown man. Jaw wiggling. My son's crying, and I'm holding my son. Because when he said, "Are you going to be here forever?" And Simba's dad said, "No, son, but I'm going to," and Simba's, "What are those stars?" Those both stars are going to be us watching over. Oh,
I feel that. Feel that.
bro, beautiful. You understand? I don't care from little, and I was not this guy. Let me hear with you, emotion. I don't know. You know what I mean? We just met. Beautiful, bro.
Beautiful.
One, love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Beautiful. That's the gift. You understand what I became is a better version of myself. A more present father, more present husband. I was always about business and making money and work. I did great at that and I sucked in the other areas. Embracing abundance to me is about pouring into all areas of your life. When I look myself in the mirror, I take an honest look at myself. I look at all my weaknesses and I improve on all areas. It's not just business. It's spirituality, family, it's purpose. It's my health. Where do I fall short and how can I get better every day? That's been the mindset. That's it. So grateful. Then on July 14th, I had to go get skin graft surgery. And then I was able to start lifting weights again after that. And I've been doing that since. Man, it's been such a beautiful 12 months and comeback. Life is beautiful. Every day we're here. I tell people this all the time. Don't wait. Whatever you were looking to do it now. Do it today. Don't wait. Like, you want to write a book, you want to start a business, you want to go on that vacation, go on the vacation. You want to marry the girl, go marry the girl. Go out and do whatever it is that you want to do now. Because time's running out, bro. I didn't think on May 8th that I was gonna go through everything I went through. And my life is very different. I still live a life of abundance. This year I went 16 biopsies. They go into my neck and they take 3 pieces of my heart out. I take no medication. I'm wide awake for it. Again, I sign a waiver every time. You can die when this happens. God is everything. Complete surrender. I'm in flow. I follow. I don't fight the current. I go with it. Be like water. Just go with it. And just have the vision. And just keep trusting. We're in a dream. So it's not even real. They'll create the dream. I have to remind myself, even after what I've been through. And I know people that are listening, I'd be like, feel it today, but what about tomorrow? You know what I mean? We have to stay in touch with this gift of life.
Yeah.
Every day. Every day is a gift, dude. It's such a beautiful thing to be here with my son, to be here with my wife, to just be, to experience it all. I listen to music. I listen to music. No, I listen to it and I think maybe this is the last time I get to hear this. So I have that mindset and I appreciate every single moment. That's the gift.
Yeah.
That's the gift.
You say these words with such like conviction and belief. I've heard other people say these things, but I couldn't feel it. I could feel it when you say these things. And a couple things that stood out for me was when you talked about abundance, what I extrapolated was you weren't talking about just abundance in finance. You were talking about abundance in community, abundance in friendships, abundance in emotional resilience, abundance in spiritual growth. So I love like this broadening definition of what abundance is. Another thing that really stood out to me as you were speaking was you were talking about getting emotional with your son. And to me, it was like, what a gift for your son to see you cry, to be able to cry with you. My father was in the military. He taught me that crying was for sissies and that like bad things would happen to me if people ever saw me cry. So I just locked it up. I locked it up, never cried, went to funerals, just thought like I'll be stoic for my mother or for everybody else here. I'm okay. And realized there was like a little boy in me that needed to cry, needed to express. And the podcast I did yesterday was with he was blown up in Iraq. He had to have half his brain or his skull is put together and stuff. And he also got emotional on the podcast. And what I would hope that people listening to this is seeing someone like you, seeing someone like my previous guests, like these men that are in their divine masculine are allowing themselves to cry, to be vulnerable. And it's not like in this, I'm a victim, feel sorry for me, but it's no, actually being able to tap into this level of vulnerability takes, in my opinion, a lot of courage. A lot of me suppressing the things that were vulnerable was because I wanted people to see me a certain way. And I didn't want to show them, like, oh, hey, there's parts of me that are anxious. There's parts of me that are insecure. There's parts of me that don't feel like I'm worthy. And as I allowed myself to show these different sides and people could see, oh, Sabo is more multidimensional. I know my wife just when I was able to start becoming more of a complete human, not just be in my divine feminine, but my divine masculine and combine the two, she just like I was almost like a new person to her. So I just wanted to just really acknowledge your authenticity, your ability to get vulnerable. And also just I love like the energy that you're sharing this with because it's to me, it's like this high vibrational energy. Hey, I'm sharing this story not for you to feel sorry, but to just be in with me in this journey of like
Yeah.
expansion and that challenges will happen, but you don't need to suffer through your challenge. You could take on the challenge and really grow with it and actually enjoy a journey that is challenging without feeling like, why did life do this to me? And I'm going on this because I do teach people manifestation. And they will always tell me, Sabo, hey, I'm manifesting these things worked out, but some of these things didn't work out. Like, what's going on? And I'll always ask, what did you learn when it didn't work out? And they'll always tell me like this big learning lesson. I'm like, yeah, this not working out is your definition. God, the higher consciousness, they know what we're going towards. And it might seem like your manifestation's not coming, but part of my interpretation of manifestation is really letting go of all attachments to what it
All
has to be
attachments.
like, and then allowing this even greater manifestation to come into your life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sometimes things need to clear out of your life and you might not like it in order for the new to come in. So this is what it looks like sometimes. Sometimes you got to get a new heart.
Yeah, yeah. Keep going on with your story. I just wanted to connect because yeah.
No, so that's it. On June 3rd of 2023, was given this gift of life and the art. And this year's been just a wild ride, man. It's been just embracing the comeback, finishing the book. We just finished it. The pre-sale launched on June 20th. You can get it on my website at friend-parisi.com, and it'll be on Amazon August 1st. And this year, I've just been focusing on nothing but growth, building my body back, building my mind back, all the business stuff. But my passion is really going out, starting to do one-on-one coaching for mindset and fitness with men. And just like my passion is just continuing to just raise my vibration so I can raise the vibration of others, brother. That's really what it
Yeah.
is. And hopefully this book really can help people that buy it. I hope that it can help transform their lives as well.
I'll definitely put all the links in the show notes, make sure that people can get the book and really motivate and get themselves into a better place. And so I wanted to ask you, my father-in-law, he had heart surgery. He showed me this 6-inch scar. He told me that for about 2 months, he didn't even want to live. He was going through so much pain. And so as I'm listening to your story, I know that you are a man of faith. I know that you're committed. But did you have any points where you started doubting yourself? Wow, this is like way harder than I thought, or this is more challenging. Oh, maybe my arm's never going to come back. Was there
Yes,
any moments of doubt for you?
yes, there was. And that's why it's so important to surround yourself. I talk about it in my life and in my book, like family, faith, family. When I was down, when all this was happening, my wife was like, I have no doubt in my mind that you're going to come back 10 times better than you. And the support of her, and to be honest with you, when I was in that hospital, I helped a lot of people in my life. I had people fly in from around the country. I had people with me all the time. All my people that came and visited me, my room was filled with people all the time. They lifted me up. None of us are deal. None of us are made it. We all need people around us to guide us and support us in the hardest of times. And if you don't have that, then you get new people in your life that are supposed to be there. For me, that's a belief system I have. And people were there for me, and they rallied around me and supported me when I needed it most, because there were times that it was like, how am I gonna, what does my future look like? How do I talk to my son about this? How does he see me? There was a time I wouldn't let him see me. I would keep the FaceTime. I'd FaceTime him at night with a sheet on me. I didn't want him to see me and all that. How do I explain this to him? What is my future going to look like? Am I going to be able to play with my son? Am I going to be able to be anything that I was? I didn't know if I was ever able to work out again, but all this going through your mind, you can give it to God, but the human, as I always say, I created a regular schedule of programming, right? I'm going to feel my human, but the regular schedule programming is vision, agreement, and creation, growth, elevation, and evolution. So we feel our human. And if we need our support of our people, we bring them in. But we get back to the regular schedule of programming after that.
Yeah. Yeah. I love what you shared because I know that when spiritually connected people talk about faith and being in the flow with the universe, I think that, or yeah, I don't want to project onto other people. When I heard other people talking about this, I'm like, oh, that guru, this master, their life must be so easy and smooth. And what I've come to realize is no, they're humans just like all of us. They get challenged, they get worried, they lose faith. And being able to tap into the community, your friends to offer that support is totally part of this, even if you're connected to God. Like, this is all part of the experience to help others, to allow others to help you in the process, to have this reciprocal energetic exchange. And for the people that are listening, maybe you should just go watch a few minutes of this video. This is my belief. This is a little bit of bro science here or bro spirituality, but when I look at people that are really connected, you said you were born in '79. I was born in '76. So I'm 47. You're 44,
Right.
right? Yeah. I believe if people looked at us, they would think we're probably in our 30s. And I believe that part
That's
of
true, right?
this, yeah, I believe
Yeah.
part of this youthful look is knowing that we're connected. We're not needlessly worrying all the time. And we're not adding that cortisol that is depleting this vehicle that we were blessed with and allowing us to utilize this vehicle as efficiently and as beautifully and elegantly as possible.
Which is most important in life, but so many people get caught up in work and making money, and we need to do that. It's part of this system that we live in. But how many people are focusing on, with that, their vision, their goals for their life, their evolution and elevation? It's just not many.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the one concept that I've heard quite a bit here today is gratitude for being able to wake up. And even the people that you just talked about, what's interesting for me is I used to, especially when I started making a lot of progress, was like, wow, I wish these people would stay connected or feel this connection. And what I've come to realize is some of these people in my life, they were actually like teaching me, like, hey, this is what it's actually like when you're disconnected and you're no longer following source, or you're no longer in flow, and you're trying to take back control of this meat vehicle that you're in and trying to force things to happen. And I was like, wow, these people are such great teachers, and it just reminds me that we are all are on our own path and that everything has happened in divine timing. Even actually, you're the second person that I know that had heart issues. One of my friends had heart issues about 15 years ago, and he completely changed his diet and just he was already a good person, but became an even better person. And I would never wish these types of physical traumas on anyone, but I've also seen what happens when you get challenged for something that deep. And for me, last year, the story that I'd like to just quickly share is I've been very successful in my professional career. And last year, for the last 3 years, I've been just working as a meditation coach. And last year, I decided I wanted to get back into the workforce. I like just having coworkers. And I knew I didn't want to be a CEO. So I thought, okay, great. Like I'll be able to support someone. I don't need to be the CEO this time. So I started applying for jobs for like chief revenue officer. Wasn't getting a lot of responses, so I started get for VP of sales titles, wasn't getting any responses, then director of sales, then manager of sales, then just sales jobs, and I was not getting any responses. And I finally got a interview at a for doing customer support. And my belief was like, okay, if I started off at customer support, I could just work my way up just like I've done in every other situation in my life, no big deal. And when I got the interview for the customer support position, the lady wrote me an email back like a day later. And she's like, hey, sorry, we're not going to move forward. And at that point, like I responded really quickly. I said, hey, I used to run like a $38 million cannabis company before. And just my Rolodex, it would be enough for you guys to hire me. This was for another cannabis company. And so she was like, hey, I could talk off the record. I can't respond to this email, but I could talk off the record. So we set up a time afterwards. And I go, hey, why did you pass on me? And she goes, Sabo, the reason why we passed is because you interviewed very well. You had all the qualifications, but I just didn't feel this connection with you. I felt like you were just trying to sell me on yourself versus showing me the real you. And I connected this to another conversation I had with my wife. And my wife had told me, like, that I wasn't that enjoyable to speak with because everything that I talked about, it would go back to spirituality and then it would go back to some like big life lesson. And I missed it when we would just have regular conversations that weren't learning lessons. And so immediately I realized, wow, like in my pursuit for spiritual expansion, I've started pushing my wife away, but I wasn't hearing her. She would tell me this, but I was just like, people pay me a lot of money to hear this information. Like you should
Right, right,
maybe
right, right.
be a bit grateful. But
Yes.
when the recruiter told me that she didn't really know me, it really woke me up. And it woke me up in a way where ended up happening was me going, wow, I thought I was this really awesome entrepreneur, but now I feel like I can't even get a customer support job. So it humbled me to a place where previous to running my own company, I worked for 6 startups. All 6 startups had successful exits. So I felt, wow, I'm like this golden child. Everything is successful to, was I just lucky this whole time and I just met the right people? So I really went to a place of like, really connected to source energy, to the universe doesn't care about me and I'm just like a piece of shit. And having to rebuild myself from that, it gave me this just deeper appreciation, more empathy for other people, more empathy for myself. And in all honesty, if I wasn't humbled like that, I don't think we would even be sitting here talking to each other. So in my mind, I didn't go through something as physical as you, but mentally, I was
Yeah,
broken mentally. And then to
yeah,
just rebuild again, it was like the best. It was almost like $6 million Man when he had that
yeah,
accident and they had to rebuild him. It was like, whoa,
yeah.
I came out of it just knowing I was a better father, a better husband, a better coach because of this humbling. And if someone told me that it was going to make me better, I may have scoffed. Hey, I'm connected. I don't want to be disconnected and almost lose all faith. But then to rebuild that faith again, now my faith I thought was like at a level 10. Now it's like at a level 20. But
Yes, yes.
yeah, and for me,
Yes.
I felt faith is belief without evidence. So,
Mhm.
in order to get to a higher level of faith, I needed to have all the evidence stripped away and then to rebuild it. And what's interesting is I'll shorten the story is I was super depressed. And so I wasn't like praying or meditating anymore. I've been meditating every day for 90 minutes since June 30th of 2020. And then I stopped meditating because I was like, no, I'm going to just send out more resumes, call more people. and just make my human put in this effort and then I'll make things happen.
Force
And
it.
then, yep, force it. And then my wife was like, you should probably just start meditating again. And I kid you not, within 2 or 3 days of meditating, I get this random person on LinkedIn reaching out going, hey, we're looking for a new product designer for this new vape hardware company that we're creating. Would you be open to this? And so it wasn't even a job that I had to apply to. And I've always, my dream job was designing cannabis vaporizers, but not having to run the company. And that's what I had done in my previous life. By letting go of all expectations, I actually got the job that I really wanted. And I only applied for sales jobs because that's what my tech background was. I never would have applied for a job designing things because even though I designed the products for my company, I didn't see myself as a designer. By releasing and just going with the flow, like the abundance came to me. I didn't have to go chase after it. And I just wanted to share that with you because
Yeah,
I think,
awesome. I love it.
yeah, we just had this amazing conversation. And I know you and I, we're going to be friends, this physical
Yeah.
life and then into infinity for our spirits. But man, I'm just so happy that Willie brought us together. This has been the coolest conversation. I even love that you have this super heavy Italian accent because in my mind, like, people that are teachers, in my mind, I have this view of like how teachers should be like. And then now I believe teachers should look more like me and you, just like
Regular.
that I could connect with. Like when I looked at like the Sadhgurus or all these other like masters, I was like, man, I just don't know if I was like, I like what they're saying, but I just didn't feel like I could relate. But with someone like you, I feel like I could totally relate with you. I got into a lot of trouble when I was younger. And then to see that you took those previous experiences, shifted who you were, and then to build yourself not just once, but twice into the person you are today. I just wanted to acknowledge you for putting in all that work and sharing this story with my audience.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on, my brother. I appreciate it. I really do. This was a great, it's always healing for me every time I do these.
Yeah. Hey, let's go over your socials. Where can people buy your book? Where can they find you on Instagram? I have a feeling a lot of people are going to want to get in touch with you and
Sure.
absorb some of this beautiful energy.
Yeah, yeah. My Instagram is at frankparisi2011.com. My book is out on pre-sale now. If you get the pre-sale, you could get like this shirt if you want with it, hardcover, and I signed an autograph. You could get it at frank-parisi.com. That's my website. It's also going to be out on Amazon August 1st.
Beautiful,
If you don't want to,
beautiful.
if you want to get an autograph t-shirt, you could get it through my website. I'll sign it and send it to you. If not, Amazon August 1st.
All right. I
I'm
know that
also
I'm gonna.
launching. I'm also launching a coaching program for mindset and fitness as well. So that's rolling out. I have a few people signed up already. So we'll see where it goes. Just follow the universe's path and guide it. That's it.
Beautiful. I know that I am going to get a autographed T-shirt and I'm gonna buy the book, so you'll see an order coming in from me pretty soon, or
Awesome.
just a little bit after this podcast. And I just wanted to thank you again, Frank. This has been one of the funnest podcasts that I've done. And next week, our guest is gonna have big shoes to fill. So thank you, Frank, for coming on.
Hey,
I
thank
really
you so much for
appreciate
having me
it.
on, brother. Let's definitely stay in touch.
Absolutely,
All right.
absolutely.
Have a great day.
All right, beautiful people. I hope you enjoyed that podcast I did with Frank. If you enjoyed it, please go follow his channel. Go buy his book. I am serious when I said I'm buying his book and getting an autographed t-shirt because I just loved our friendship, our conversation so much. And if you loved it too, please leave a comment, leave a rating, share this with a friend. Help us grow this podcast, and I'll be back next week with another awesome guest. Take care, everyone.